Hey traders, how you doing? Tom Willard here with the update. Let's talk about the last two stocks we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Okay, and I'll throw out another idea for the next coming week. Some of you guys are really interested in it, and I know some of you guys traded with these ideas I had well. So let's talk about a couple opportunities. The swing trade on Chesapeake, as I mentioned, originally mentioned this is a long idea back here. Okay, as it was trying to bottom, as it gapped up here, came down, pulled back, made a higher low on lower volume, popped up. I said watch it here over the highs. Okay, a few of you guys traded it, or at least let me know anyway that you traded it. Now, this last week, we were sitting right here. Okay, and I said, look, I like this as a long idea, as a day trade and a swing trade. Both the ideas. Okay, but you got to find your pattern, your edge. You got to have a plan. You got to know what you're doing, and you have to have an edge. You can't just haphazardly trade. Or, well, you can if you want to lose money consistently. So what I had mentioned here is I like the way it tapped out here below 1498 or so and didn't follow through. And I said the next day watch it closely. Well, the next day we went down. Okay, and I tweeted about it. I said actually there's no interest in this today. Not interested in trading this. Okay, but watch this pullback like I talked about. You can buy the high of this previous bar if it breaches it. So the high is 1502 and a low of 1456. So there's your entry over 1502 with a stop at 1456 on a multi-day trade, not a day trade. Okay, boom. The next day it hits it, gaps up into the bar strong, hits it. Okay, first target is this previous tail high. What is this high? Look at this here, $16.17. Okay, see how it pivoted there? 16. That's my first target. Okay, and it hit it this next day, 16.16 within a penny. I even tweeted, said taking profits here. Okay, held some shares. Some of you guys may be all out if you hit your target. Depends on your management. Okay, held some shares, sold more than half. Okay, held it here, and then looking for a continued move. Ideally, 1640 was the low here, so 16 and a half. And then of course the next move up here is about 17. We've got minor resistance here. Okay, and also based on fib retracement concepts, we're looking at about 50% will put you right in this area. So I'm not expecting more than 17 at the most. Okay, and the next day we opened flat, came down, back up, and now we're pulling back again. Okay, so what's that doing? That's creating another opportunity to get in again if you want, but it's more risky. Okay, because we're up here now a little bit. If we go to the weekly chart, you'll see we're up now 4 weeks in a row. Okay, we have a little pivot here from this last week, but we're still 4 weeks up in a row. We've already used up some of our power here. Ideally, when I originally mentioned it was the time to get in. Okay, some of you folks got in here, right here at 15. Okay, and ultimately this entry here from this last week was at 1502, so it's basically the same entry. It pulled back to the same entry. Okay, and produced about a $10, $15 move. Okay, so not too bad. Now, from a day trading perspective, there were a number of opportunities. Let's go to the 5-minute chart here. Here's the 13th. When I mentioned there's really no interest, it gapped up and got clobbered early. I said, I'm just going to watch it, keep it around. But the next day provided its opportunity. Here, you've got an early 5-minute breakout, stop at the low of the day. You can see it pulled back and actually gave another pullback entry here at 1502. Okay, and then just kind of grinded up all day. Okay, nice move, went up. Okay, then the following day, it gapped up, came down, formed a shelf base here, possible breakout here over 1540 with a stop under 1535 or 1530. Okay, and there's your breakout play. Boom, what a nice run. And then it broke out again in the afternoon. Okay, and in the afternoon is when I tweeted right here saying, hey, take some profits. It's a first target. Okay, and then how you manage it from there is up to you. And as I said, I'm continuing to watch it, but I'm going to do smaller shares now if it sets up again on a swing position to the long side, because my target is a little bit less. There's less distance between what would be a potential entry. Okay, whereas where it was last time. Now, if it pulls back to 15 again, then you still got about $1.52. Okay, of room, and so you got to look at the sector, look how the market's doing. Okay, we had a pretty slam day on Friday over in general, and this one held up pretty well considering what the markets did. But again, these energy stocks kind of on their own page, as you know if you've been trading for the last several months anyway. So just trade it to your plan. Okay, follow it to your plan. But I'm still watching this. I've already traded it a number of times. Okay, done well on every trade. And looking to trade it some more. Okay, so you can use the same idea over and over again. It's not a one and done situation. I find that oftentimes you find these nice setups on the weekly charts that come down to the daily where they're stupid extended like this. Okay, and it's just the dead cat bounce is not inevitable. Okay, mark my words, it's not inevitable. But if you have a plan and an edge, you can take advantage of these things. But you got to take your stops. I've seen these things hit and then just go down twice as much. Okay, and people go, well, it's way outside the Bollinger Band. It's ridiculously extended from the moving averages. Doesn't matter. The extended can get more extended. That's why you have to have stops. Okay, you can't just go in thinking, well, it's extended. Tom's talking about it. Hey, it's gonna work. Okay, no, that's not the case all the time. Okay, I do find a lot of good ideas that do work often, but not everything works. You gotta have stops. You gotta have a plan. All right, so that's Chesapeake broken down for you. Let's take a look at my friend Skyworks. Now, Skyworks we talked about too over the last couple weeks, right? As a possible short. The first day was right here. I mentioned it right here as a possible short. Oh yeah, and not to beat a dead horse here. You guys can watch the videos from the last couple weeks if you haven't. I said it was too many bars down. I'm just interested in watching it for a short setup. Well, it gapped down, came back up, and as I talked in the last video, it was an ideal shorting situation right here as a day trade, as a swing trade. Okay, you've got a lower high, you've got a retracement back up to the resistance area. I said ideally I'd love to see it breach these highs. Okay, but ultimately it made that lower low, and there's your setup right there. It hit right there. It shorted it right there under 98.80. Okay, you can put your stop up about 101, 170, $100.75 for this pivot here, right, which is $101.10. Okay, and down she came. First target is support, 93.61. You can see almost on this next day it hit it. Okay, and then it gapped up, couldn't hold, and boom. Okay, here it broke that area, and there's your first target. So first target achieved. Still got some shares short side. Where's my next target? Around $90 a share. Okay, because this is a very strong stock in a weekly, but as you can see, it's stupidly extended. Okay, this bottoming tail action here and this up and down, back and forth is indicative of further downside. Ultimately, I think this could go down to 84, but it's going to need market help and help in the sector. Okay, now initiating a new short position as an overnight trade here is asinine because it's down 5 days in a row. So don't get in now if you didn't get in with me up here. Okay, I'm out, and I got a little bit left that I'm looking to take down to this area. Okay, now if it retraces back up or it bases out here, then we may get another setup. I'll keep you posted. Okay, I'll start to continue to do videos. Okay, now on the day trading side of things, this one can be a little bit more squirrely. Let's go back. Oop, I'm going too slow. Okay, here let's go to the start of the week. The 13th was the first day of the week, right? There's the first day of the week. Came up hard, came down, didn't really give much. I mean, you kind of had a retracement here, a retest. If you're trading mid-morning, you could have shorted it, taking it down here to the 98.50. The next day, it gave a nice early entry on a smaller time frame. Just explosive if you were catching it and you trade the early time frames. Okay. Now here on this next day, on the 15th, it gave a really nice move too. Here early on a smaller time frame. If you X-ray down to a 2-minute chart, okay. Gives you an entry here. You could take it down to a gap fill, which it did nicely. Okay, but you can see how erratic it is and whippy. So when you're doing trading stuff that behaves like this, make sure that you got ample reward for the risk you got to take. Okay, you're asking for it if you short it in here with a stop right here within the bar because you don't want to give up that much. And you want to do a crap load of shares. It doesn't work that way. You'll get clipped to death. Okay, death by 1,000 cuts. Okay, and you can see how sloppy it is here the rest of the day, but it is working way down. That's what's great about holding stuff overnight. Okay, is you can just sit there and not worry about it and ride it down. Now, if you're conservative, you can just trail stop it now. Say, all right, well, I've already moved here pretty nicely off my entry. I take some profits here. It peekabooed below, but bottoming tailed out. Okay, you got a bottoming tail here. I don't want to, risk too much. So move your stop to $95 a share. Then you're still making $3 plus a share on your balance of your stock that you have on the short side, okay? Or you could just say, you know what, screw it. I'm accepting the risk of the trade. I'm going to move. My stop stays at $100 and $101, and there it goes. It either hits my target at 90 or 86 or 87, okay, or 80, wherever your target is, or it's my stop. I don't care. Okay, but watch for earnings too. Look up when these things report. Could really help you actually. Okay, so you've got to make a decision whether you want to hold over earnings. It is more risky. Okay, you can see what happened to Netflix. Anyone who is short is getting their rear end kicked on this thing. Okay, because oftentimes what people do say, well, it made a big run into earnings. That's usually indicative of he's going to go the other way. And oh, ouch. Okay, the market got crushed on Friday. Look what this thing did. Okay, I'm not in Netflix. Haven't been in it for a while. Day trade it from time to time, but I've not been swinging this thing. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Would have been nice to get in this bad boy right around here. Okay, but not the case. All right. So let's take a look at an idea for next week, since I'm sure you guys are interested. Check this one out. Okay, came across this one on my scans. Look at this. Up a ton. Yeah, it was up a grip. Classic, extended. This looks a lot like Skyworks, doesn't it? Okay, at this point with the whip. Okay, and it came down. Came down. Now look how far down it is and extended from the 20-period moving average on the weekly. Okay, some support here. Ridiculously draining volume. Okay, people are bailing, but remember, when there's a trade happens, there's a buyer and a seller. You can't have a trade with just a seller. Some people go into that thinking, wow, look at all the selling. It's like, well, crap, look at all this buying. You wouldn't have a trade if you didn't have buyers, right? So down it came, lots of exhaustion volume, can't go lower. I don't know, man. I got to tell you, this looks pretty darn good, at least for a day trade. If she can get up, first up, let's go to the 60 here. It's too much garbage. But technically, if she gets over 14, it could run to 1460, but there's a lot of traffic here in the way. But if she can clear 1480, okay, 14, I think this thing's got a $2 run in it, okay, 15, 16, 80, 17, 18 bucks a share, I think, can run with the right market, okay, and right behavior in the sector. But this thing looks exhausted. I would not be shorting this, just like the Skyworks. I would not be buying it swing long overnight, okay. Take your profits if you've been able to. If you've been short this thing, great. Now, if I was swing short on this thing, I'd be like, okay, now I'm seeing it dry up. I want to take some profits here soon. Take some off the table. So that's a for sure. I'm not for sure I'm going to buy this thing, but I want you to watch it, okay? Because I think this is producing an opportunity. You've got a pretty tight stop here. If you're really aggressive, slow here, 1287, 12, 13, 16. I mean, you could put a stop in about 1250 and say, you know what, I'm going to get in risk 60 cents and see if I can get that pop instead of waiting for it to get up here. Again, to your plan, how you want to do it, okay? Play with the options too if you're an options trader. But I think this thing's got some bounce in it in the right market environment if that materializes next week. Okay, so watch this one for next week. But my lean is bullish on this thing, at least on a day trade. If it can get up in this area, maybe more advanced if it gets over 14. Okay, and as a swinger, if you can get in, if you get your setup, ride it looking around $18 as your target, and of course drawing the line in the sand around 1287 on your stop side, or 1250, or you use this flat 200 here. Moving average if you like to. Okay? Totally up to you. All right. Breakdown, followed up, ideas, new idea for next week. Happy trading. Talk to you in the next video.